Hey everybody, it's Mr. Davis here, and I want to welcome everybody to 8th grade science. I'm going to give you a little overview about the instructions for these assignments that we've been doing over the last couple of weeks and the assignments we'll be doing for the next few weeks. And I want to show you where the textbook is if you don't have that at home. I want to also give you a way to get in touch with your other teachers if you haven't been able to get your work from all your teachers. But thanks in advance to everybody for being flexible and just being kind of open to some new things. We're all kind of learning here on the fly. That includes you, that includes me, and parents and the administration, everybody. This is a new situation for everybody. So thanks to everybody who's making it work. I think almost every person, maybe 2 people missing from Remind. So if you know somebody who's not on Remind and you know they're not on there, tell them to join up. I think I only have 2 students missing now. But let me start with Remind though. I put parents and students in different accounts. There's a few reasons for it. Remind kind of functions differently when there's parents and students together. The parents and students can't message each other. So I wanted to put students on one class and parents in another class, and I kind of got that done. If you haven't done it yet, there's still a couple of people, think about 4 or 5, who haven't changed their name to their first name and last name. Please go to Remind, open up your profile, and change your name in there to first and last name. And if your name isn't your first and last name, you probably already have a message from me with a link to how you do that. So with that, let's move on though. I'm glad you made it here. And here are the directions for the assignments. And I want everybody to read them. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and read them for you right now. So I'm going to click through there. And I'll send everybody a copy of what I'm using right here. So this Word document, I'll just send it to everybody on Reminder. You can click through here just like I'm doing right now when you want. So when you click on that first one for directions, it takes you to this page. This is on the Hillview Junior High website, and you can see that the directions start right here. So as of March 20th, there are no more do nows. You know those do nows we always do every day. We kind of changed I changed the format a little bit. I think it wasn't working that good for the daily work, and I think that we were better off getting work for the entire week at once. So don't get rid of any work that you've done so far. We're going to go ahead and collect it and assess it. We're still trying to figure out exactly how to do that. It's not going to be easy, but we'll figure it out. Everything is new to us, so just give us a little time, and I'll get your work collected. But don't throw anything away. If you're worried about grading, don't worry too much about grading. We will grade your work, but as of right now, just make sure you're getting everything done. The location of assignments. So all assignments are listed on my Hillview web page, under the heading assignments. So that's right here. So under this heading assignments, you'll find all of the assignments, and I'll click it really quick so we can see. So when you click assignments, it takes you to current assignments. You can see that right here, and it says week 1, week 2, week 3. I also put a little picture here for you to see. Just click on the assignment or click on the week of the assignment that you need to do. So if you're on week 2, go ahead and click week 2, and it's going to show you what the week 2 assignment is. But we're getting a little bit ahead. Let's go back to that first page, that directions page right there. And that's where the assignments are. If you're having trouble with that link or something, if you can't click through, you could always go here. It's bit.ly. And it might look familiar to you. It's kind of similar to the link we used to use in class, but instead of capital WORK work 94565, it's bit.ly or bit.ly/94565/work. So you can find the work just like you used to do when we were in class. Just type in this link and it'll take you to the assignments. But how do we do the assignments? Well, the first thing you need to do is go to that assignments page, the one that we talked about, and the assignments are listed under the heading current assignments. So you can see that we just took a look at that. The first assignment covers these dates, and you can see the dates for the assignments when we go there. The due dates are there, but we're not worried about the due date just yet. I'm going to pull these dates back a little bit. It's not going to be due on May 1st. They're going to be due a little bit sooner, but don't worry. I'll give you at least a week in advance to know what those due dates are going to finally be. So you can click on week 1, click on week 2. I don't want you to do week 1 assignment if you haven't already done it. So again, skip week 1 if you haven't already done it. Don't even worry about it. Just start with week 2. Do week 2 and week 3, and on Monday we'll have an assignment called week 4, and you can start on that on Monday. So that's going to be Monday, April 6th. We'll have the next assignment. The process is different. So I'm on number 6 now. The process that we're using is a little bit different than what we do in class. So you're going to have to make sure that you read all the instructions. So go to the instructions and use them to do the assignment for each week. If you get it, if you understand what you need to do, then go ahead and just start on the assignment. And this is what I'll do now. I'll go to one of the assignments. I'll look at the instructions for the assignment. And if you already know how to do them, if those instructions make sense, then I think you're good to go. But if you need a little bit more details about them, I encourage everybody to watch this video at least once. I have an additional set of instructions that I'm gonna show you. So let me do this and this, and I'll just move this over here, and let's get this over here on this side. And I want us to be able to kind of check out a couple of things at once. We can split the screen and go back and forth. Okay, I think that's about as good as I'm going to get it. Okay, so here on the right, we have those instructions that we were looking at, the page called directions, and let's do it. So it says to click on assignments. Let's go to assignments and let's click on week 2. So we'll go to week 2 right here, and week 2 has its own instructions. They're over here on this side, and I'm going to make this big so we can see it a little bit better. But here are the instructions for week 2, and it tells you read chapter 9. It starts on page 338 in your blue Focus on Physical Science textbook. So everybody should have that Focus on Physical Science textbook at home, and you should start on page 338 and read the chapter. And here it is. It says in your notebook. So in your notebook, go ahead and take some notes. And I want you to make 1 jot dot per blue heading, 1 jot dot per red heading, and define each of the vocabulary words as you encounter them in the text. So as you go through the text, you'll see some bold-faced words. Go ahead and look those up in the glossary in the back of the book as you make your jot dots. So hopefully that makes sense. Then it says below that, answer the questions. At the end of each section, you don't need to write the questions, but you have to use complete sentences. So go through the text. You'll see some questions at the end of each section. You can see that the book is broken down into sections. It'll go chapter. So for this one, we're on chapter 9. You'll see chapter 9, section 1. Then after that is chapter 9, section 2. And after that is chapter 9, section 3. At the end of each section, you'll see a set of questions. You don't have to write the questions, but I want you to use complete sentences and answer the questions. And where are you going to do that? Right here in your notebook. So in your notebook, do all of these things. Then when you get to the end of the chapter, you'll see even more questions. So those questions at the end of the chapter, you don't have to write those either, but do answer every single question at the end of the chapter. So the section boxes, answer those questions, section assessment, and at the end of the chapter, answer all the questions there. Then when you finish that, we have another book. Now this is a book that we don't use in class. It's called the Interactive Textbook, and it's only available online. And for this one, I'll show you in a second. I'll click on this link, and this is how you get to it. But I want you to do pages 1 through 10, and this is what I want you to do. I really don't want you to print it out unless you have a particular need, like a visual thing, like where you really need to have it right in front of you in paper. But otherwise, I want you to just keep your notebook out from doing your notes on the chapter, and I want you to just write the answers. You don't have to write the questions. I just want you to use complete sentences and write the answers. And here we go. Let me go to that interactive notebook. I'll click right there, and it shows us this page right here. Hopefully that looks familiar to you. Click right here where it says textbook and workbook, and this is the interactive notebook. This is the one. So go down here. You can see the page numbers on there. Right now those are just some Roman numerals. Let's keep going down till we get to page 1, and we need to do pages 1 through 10. So here we go. We're finally there. Here's chapter 1, motion, page 1. And the section that you did in the textbook, chapter 9 that you did in the textbook is about motion. So this interactive notebook goes with the textbook, but it's you can see how you do it. So right here, start from the top. You have to read everything. It says, when you move from place to place, how do you know you have moved? Write your answer on the lines below. Then read the lesson to learn more about determining position. So, sort of like what we do in class, before you know everything about the lesson, before you do all your learning, we're all going to start somewhere. And this is where we're going to start. And it says before you read. So before you even start reading about this, tell us what you already know about motion, and write it on these 3 lines right here. I wish I could highlight them, but there's 3 lines right in the middle, right where my mouse is going. Write what you know about motion in your notebook. Now, if you had this printed out, you would write it on these lines. But since you don't, you can just go page 1, and then you can write those statements. Describe the stuff you know about motion. Then right here, main idea. It says the position of an object depends on the choice of a reference point. What you'll learn: how to describe an object's position in 2 dimensions, why displacement is a vector. So that's pretty wordy. Hopefully if you went through chapter 9, some of those words make a lot of sense already. But if not, keep going. They're going to explain what a reference point is right here. And it has some things for you to do. It says underline. So as you read, underline material you do not understand. Reread the information until you understand it. If the text is still unclear, ask your teacher for help. Definitely do that, except we can't really underline the text, right? Because it's not printed out. So just write it down in your notebook. Instead of underlining it, write the things you would underline down in your notebook. Then fotables. That's a little very short, should be 5-minute little mini project. Make 4 note cards. So you can take a sheet of paper, cut it into 4 pieces, or you can fold it and tear it into 4 pieces, and just label the quarter sheets as illustrated, and use them to record what you learned about the position of objects and terms and definitions introduced in the lesson. So you can see those things right here. You should make a set of notes on these little I guess you would call them index cards or something like that. Note cards. Just go ahead and make your 4 note cards, and you can base it on the concepts that you're finding in the text as you go. So keep going down. Here's another thing, reading check. So this one you should do in your notebook. It says identify what sign is used to indicate a reference direction. So what sign is used to indicate a reference direction? You can see that that's in the text right there. So go ahead and figure out what the answer to that is, and write down that answer in a complete sentence in your notebook. Keep reading, and here you go, another reading check. Go ahead and do these things, and do that for the whole interactive textbook through page 10. So we're going to do chapter 1, and that's pages 1 through 10. And if you're not sure, I'm going to go ahead and close this out. And if you're not sure what that is, here I'll show you. Here, let's actually go back, and let's make this smaller. And if you look at the instructions for week 2, and I'll make that big again, it says, so this is where we started a second ago, assignment week 2. It says do the interactive textbook pages 1 through 10. So just like we did, click on that interactive textbook. Don't do the whole textbook. Just go to page 1 and do pages 1 through 10. Where you're going to write your answers? In your notebook. Just write the answers in your notebook as best you can. If it asks you to do some little, very small mini projects like make some index cards, go ahead and make those index cards. Make sure you save everything. There will be a point where we have to show all of our work, where we have to turn everything in. Make sure you have everything. What's next? So let me minimize this one and let's go over to this window right here. This is more detailed. So kind of like what I just did, this is like a written version of what I was just doing right now. So I won't read all of this, but I want you to read it all. And especially if you're stuck, like, wait, should I do this or should I do that? Just go ahead and read this over, or send me a message on Remind, and I'll try to answer it as soon as I can. But let's go back to this Word document. So we covered the directions just now. We just saw where to find the assignments, and you can find them there, or you can click right here. That will take you there, but it's the same page. So here are the assignments. They're listed by week. It should be super easy. Just click on the week of the assignment you want to do. And remember, don't do week 1. So week 2, week 3, go ahead and do those. And on Monday, we'll have week 4. And I want to, oh yeah, if you don't have the blue textbook, you know that textbook we use in class, the one you're doing jot dots from, here it is right here. So go ahead and click on that link. That link says, that link says bit.ly 94565 capital T textbook. Go ahead and click on that one, and it's going to take you right here. So when you get to that textbook, you can see here's chapter 1 right here. Here's chapter 9. That's the chapter about motion, the one we've been looking at. Just go ahead and double click it, and this is the whole book. So hopefully you have the real book. It's a little bit easier if you have the real book with you. But if you don't have the real book with you, then you're going to have to use this textbook. It's every page of the book, and all you have to do is just scroll down, and you can see here are your red headings. Here's your blue headings. Here are your vocabulary words. Go ahead and do the same thing on here that you would do in a physical textbook. And here you go, reviewing key concepts. So here's that section 1 assessment. Go ahead and do this assessment. Now I don't want you to do the lab zone at home activities unless you want to. You can get extra credit for doing those, but here's the thing: before you do any of those things, please ask your parents, ask mom and dad, ask grandma, ask somebody if you can do this at home. So some of these get a little messy. If you want to do it, go ahead and document that. Take some video, take some pictures of whatever you've made or whatever the finished product is, and I'll give you extra credit for it, but make sure you ask somebody before you do that, okay? Let's go back. Yeah, so if you have any questions, just let me know. Hit me up on Remind. I'll try to answer your questions. One last thing, if you haven't been able to get in touch with one of your teachers, I know each teacher is kind of maybe has something different going on. Go ahead and click that last link, and it'll take you to Hillview Junior High directory. And this is everybody's, this is all your teachers' website. So if you click on one of these names, then it'll take you to their website. Let's go to Mrs. Holtz. You can just click on Mrs. Holtz's name, and it shows you right here. Greetings. I hope you and your family are doing well. And then she has a list of things that you can navigate around to. Your do nows are here. Your notebook setup, the class calendar. So go ahead and explore that if you haven't already been in contact with Mrs. Holtz. The same thing. Don't forget about PE. Let's see, who's a PE teacher? You got Mr. Oh, here's I don't know where the PE teacher's at. Let's see. Oh, Mr. Coleman right there. All right, so go to Mr. Coleman. He's telling you what to do. You got to do some squats, you got to do some planks, you got to do some mountain climbers and some push-ups. So go ahead and do all of those things. So look for each one of your teachers. They got work for you. Click on their name right here and get that work done. Again, if you have any questions, just go ahead and hit me on Remind. That goes for parents, that goes for students too. Just text me on Remind and I'll try to answer them as fast as I can. Thank you very much, guys. Have a great day.